So our next session this morning is Jill Malusky, who's the Public Relations Specialist at the Green Bank Observatory, and she'll be talking with us about our many communications projects at the observatory, including some resources we have to do press releases for scientists working with the telescopes. Take it away, Jill.
Okay, I will reply to Public Relations Wizard. I might prefer that, so you can choose how you want to address me. So yeah, I've been with the observatory a few years now, and I manage public relations, and that's a big basket that has a lot of stuff in it. So like Will said, I'm going to share with you different resources that you may or may not have known about that might help you with your work or any communications or education or outreach you might do around your observations or what you do with the GBT. And then if you find something really amazing and you want to celebrate it and share it with the wider community, I'm the person who you would reach out to about putting together a press release. Okay, so hopefully you all are familiar with our website to apply to be part of the workshop or to do a GBT proposal. So you've seen it, you know it, but like I said, I'm just going to point out a few resources that you may not realize are hidden on the website. Like you all are probably always going to the science tab, but what I'm going to show you are some of our social media resources to start. So you may already follow these accounts, you may not. So the first one that I find that most scientists are familiar with or are following of ours is Twitter. A lot of scientists like to use this because this does have the live feed of what's being observed from the GBT telescope. So it's been set up that as soon as a new observation or a new project is started, boom, it says that it's started and it shares that information on Twitter. So we also share a lot of news and information and resources on Twitter, and we also share a lot of amusing and entertaining things on Twitter. I have a colleague in the education department, her name's Lucy. If you ever see anything really clever or a meme, that comes from her. So if you follow us on Twitter, you're both going to be informed about what's happening and you're going to be entertained. And if you are a user and you're following us and you want to celebrate the fact that your observation is happening or that you just hit some milestone, go ahead and at us, tag our account, because we will repost and retweet that. We get really excited when we see people do that, and we're always reposting and retweeting all the time. Next one's Facebook. Less of you may use this. It's less popular with certain people for various reasons. We get a lot of people who follow this who are amateur astronomers, citizen science, families, individuals who are fans of astronomy and space and the Green Bank telescope in general. Again, this is where we share a lot of news and information. We also share a lot about our events, and we also use Facebook a lot to go live and premiere videos. So maybe you've seen one of those in the past. We've done Ask Me Anythings with scientists and users, and we're always open to doing more. So besides just taking a look at the feed and seeing what we're sharing, this also has a really great archive of all the videos that we've ever shared. So that's a good thing to go in and check out as well. Instagram, I know I'm personally a big Instagram user. This is where we post pretty pictures, but we also post news and information. So again, it's a little bit less followed, but it's still an outlet that we use. And we do love to repost content or photos that we see people take when they're on site or when they tag us. YouTube is something that I think that you as users may end up interacting with a lot, because all of the recordings that we're making during this training workshop and previous workshops, we actually archive these on our YouTube channel. So even if you go to our website to find one of the sessions that you participated in and you really enjoyed and you want to watch it again, you're going to get plugged back over into YouTube and the playlist that was made specifically for this workshop. So I'm actually working on that right now. We also have a lot of other great playlists. Some of them focus exclusively on science. Some of them are education. Some of them are news. Some of them are about special campaigns or projects we worked on, like West Virginia Night Sky or our REU students. And we also have a huge collection of community Zoom videos. Some of you might know or have already attended or been a part of GBO Community Zooms. and I'll talk about those here in a little bit. But we have a huge playlist of all the recordings that we made in 2020 and all the new ones that we're making in 2021. The resource that I think you all might find most useful is we have a Flickr account, and we have a lot of publicly accessible albums with photos of our campus, the GBT, all of our instruments, people doing activities on campus. If you're putting together a presentation, this is where you can go directly and choose any image that you want. You'll find credit information in the captions or the descriptions of images, and you can access this anytime from our website. So sometimes I get past requests when I reach out to a project friend or a scientist they know on staff. They'll shoot it to me, and I'll shoot you just over to the Flickr, which you can get to from the website. So it's pretty cool that you can just hop on there whenever you want. We keep it updated. Every time I go on campus for a project, I'm always shooting more photos and images. So again, that's a great place to go to get resources that you might use. So again, coming back to the website, you may or may not know that we have some free swag that you can download. You can get a Zoom background. You can get a wallpaper for your phone, your tablet, your laptop, if you're so inclined and you love the GBT that much. So you can find those on our website. And again, the social media tabs, the accounts that I just reviewed, you'll find those right up there. The Flickr, the YouTube, that's how you get to it directly, but you're probably going to get rerouted to some of those outlets, as I mentioned, when you are going to watch workshop recordings or something like that. Okay, so I mentioned the GBO Community Zooms. So you might have been to one of these, you might have received an email about them since we share that information with most of our observers and users. So ever since, let me see, I think April of 2020, after a lot of us were quarantined and working from home, the scientific staff came together to offer these bi-monthly, 2 times a month, Zoom meetings where we share news and information, operations updates, what work is being done on the telescope, what projects are coming along. And then we also invited and have invited users, researchers out there who have GBT data or who are working in our areas of interest or expertise to do presentations. So it's kind of like a half and half. You get some news and information, and then you also get to see some of the latest science that's coming out. And so again, since we're doing these 2 times a month, we have tons of them. So you can go to the website, you go to the Science tab and you click on that, the first item you'll see is GBO Community Zooms. That's what we call them. And there's a little accordion drop-down menu that you can select. So you can see all the dates and topics for 2021 and all the dates and topics for 2020. So again, you might have colleagues or professors or people that who've already done a presentation. So if you want to check that out, you can go ahead and watch it. And by clicking on any of these links, it's going to take you right back to the YouTube channel that I mentioned where we have all of that archived. And if you want like a reminder about this and you want to add this to your calendar and your schedule, again, from that GBO Community Zoom page that you can access under the Science tab, you can go ahead and sign up to be on an email list. You'll automatically get sent an invitation 2 times a month. It'll tell you who's coming up, and then you can just add that to your calendar. And, it's a nice thing. They're held at 1 p.m. We're actually having one this afternoon on Wednesdays. And so, if you have a late lunch, you can kind of kick back and enjoy the program. And yeah. And I'm sure the scientific staff have been programming this themselves. They've been finding the speakers, but if you were really excited about your science, I'm sure you could reach out to your project friend or a member of the scientific division and just say, hey, I might like to talk about my work. And I'm sure they would be able to fit you in. Okay, so I'm going to share a few more resources. Again, you all probably just go to the Science tab when you come to the website. If you go to the About tab, which is just all the way over here on the right, you're going to be able to, there it is with the circle. download a PDF of our Green Bank Observatory booklet. So what is that? Well, in previous years, when we got to see each other in real life, maybe at a AAS conference, you would pick up a really beautiful full color 16-page booklet that talks all about the observatory, our facilities, the GBT, our other instruments, our latest science, our education programs, all that good stuff. You can actually download a PDF of this, which you might find useful. It might help you as you're working on a presentation and you want to talk about our instruments or the work you do with us. It might be a resource to share with students that you know or that you work with. We do have printed copies of these. We have less right now because we're obviously doing less in-person activities. And you can also download that PDF from the website. And what I do is I actually make virtual goodie bags that I share with different programs or workshops or activities that are happening with the observatory. And I include this file. So if you want one and you can't find it, reach out to Will, reach out to me, and I'll get that to you. And another reason I bring this up, actually, the page that I have screenshotted right here, this is a news page. And some of these stories, they're about or press releases that were created about GBT users and GBT science. It's not just about our staff, but sometimes we're actually featuring GBT users who did something really awesome or came up with some great result. So it's pretty cool because you're part of that booklet that we distribute essentially internationally. Anybody can use that. So yeah, I'm gonna go on and move along. Oh yeah, I did have a slide in here about COVID-19 and our operations, but we can skip that because everything is changing. Oh, another reason I did put this in though is because the visit tab is where you can actually download a map of the observatory. So again, maybe more for educational or personal interest. We actually have a PDF when you are lucky enough to be able to come on site. You can give yourself a guided walking tour. I know that previously observer training included a visit to the telescope when it was available. So this is a resource that you can access. So when you do get to make your way out, you know what you're looking at. Maybe you're going to share it with friends and family or students. Okay, so again, here's just a little rundown of some of the different social media accounts that I shared and some of the hashtags that we use. And now we'll get to press releases. So yeah, like I said, public relations is a big basket and a lot of things go in it. So one of the things that you might find most relevant and interesting as users is when you get all this great data and you publish a paper, maybe you're going to be working with your home institution to issue a press release. Or maybe you don't have folks at your institution to help you with this. Well, I can. So again, it's when you're publishing data or work. Maybe there's an announcement about your project because it's won an award or funding, or maybe you're actually presenting about it at the AAS conference or some other activity. So these are all great times to do press releases. And I have an example of not our most recent press release. Our most recent press release about green pea galaxies actually went out this morning at 8 a.m. But this was the most recent one prior to this, which was about the rotation of Venus. But again, to the left here, you can see a big list. Before I arrived, I think we were averaging like maybe 4 to 6 of these a year. And I think right now in 2021, we might be up to 12. So we're definitely churning out more. And I'm always happy when I check my email and I have an email from one of you users saying, hey, we're about to get published. Can we do a press release? Here's the people I work with back at my university or organization, and then we start that conversation and we get it together. Another thing that I do, which might have less overlap with your work, but it's good for you to know, or maybe it could overlap with what you're doing, is I receive requests and coordinate requests for folks to film and photograph on campus and on the GBT. Now, as you can imagine, because of the NRQZ and because of the nature of radio astronomy, there's lots of different things we need to consider when it comes to facilitating requests so that we can prevent RFI from observations. So there are certain times of day, times of year when I'm able to coordinate this more than other times. But that's a part of my job. You know, if the Washington Post wants to come and do a story, we make that happen so we can take them up on the telescope. Here we can see our site director, Karen O'Neill. She's actually being interviewed by an NSF staff member who coordinates their social media and marketing campaigns. So they were using that to create a new video all about. So there's lots of different ways that we might receive a request. Again, it probably has less overlap with what you do, but it's a part of my work. And sometimes we get great resources, great photos and video out of this that I then put up on Flickr and you can use in your presentations. Okay, and you know, you probably won't need this, but should you, if you go under the media tab, there's a little section about press requests that comes to me and how I facilitate and coordinate those. Media use, again, mentions our Flickr and some different policies we have for when you're using those resources, social media policy, stuff like that. And that's it. So this is my email. Please feel free to reach out to me, jot it down. If you don't jot it down right now, you can ask your project friend or Will or anyone else. They'll get you in touch with me should you need resources, should you come to do a press release at some point. I wanted to make sure that this information was more accessible because don't think people always realize what we have and what you can do with us. So thanks for your time. If you have any questions or comments, I'm happy for you to share them now.
Thank you very much, Jill. Do we have any questions? This is the first time that we've done this presentation in our Observer training. And like Jill said, we really wanted to make sure that everyone knew what resources we had available. So you know that we can do press releases either with your home institutions or individually. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thanks guys.
Jill.